All right, everyone. So it's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go out. This is the look. I'm feeling cut. But before I go out, I've got to pregame. And the only way I pregame is with an ice cold Bud Light. So good.
Well, the global cabal theory, it has many variations, but basically there is a small group of people, a small cabal, that secretly controls everything that is happening in the world. All the wars, all the revolutions, all the epidemics, everything that is happening is controlled by this very small group of people who are, of course, evil and have bad intentions. And this is a very well-known story that it's not new. It's been there for thousands of years. It's very attractive because, first of all, it's simple. You don't have to understand everything that happens in the world. You just need to understand one thing. The war in Ukraine, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, 5G technology, COVID-19. It's simple. There is this global cabal. They do all of it. And also, it enables you to shift all the responsibility to all the bad things that are happening in the world to this small cabal.
Welcome everyone to the Best Damn Podcast. I am your host, John Keane. As always, I would like to thank you guys for joining me. As such, you please add, follow, and check us out. Facebook, Instagram at Best Damn Podcast, and Twitter at The Real Best Damn. I hope you guys are having an awesome night. Today we got a pretty interesting video for you. If you couldn't tell from the intro, Obama dressed in drag. That's obviously a deep fake, or at least I hope it's a deep fake. Let me say what's up to you guys in the chat here. I see Matthew Short, Graceful Heart, Chris S, Mark Backanek. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not saying your names right, please forgive me. I think what's going on today, with technology in particular, we all have, our unique algorithms that are fed to us constantly. It doesn't matter where we're at, whether we're, sitting at home watching television, we're on our phones, we're on social media, we're in our cars. It seems like our phones are always connected to us. Some piece of technology is always connected to us, and we're constantly being fed this stream of information of the powers that be. We can call them the powers that be, these major corporations and government entities, shaping the way that we perceive our world, shaping the way that we see ourselves, shaping the way that we see one another and how we feel about ourselves even. And I think it's important for every person to really question the narratives that we're being fed, whether it's the media and it comes to, politics, or, it's your religion, or, whatever brand of spirituality you're getting into. You always have to understand that unless it comes from within yourself and it's something that, you have truly created and it's organic, it's someone trying to place an idea or a school of thought on you for a particular reason. And these narratives that we're being given, and right now we're going to look at some of these too. Pronounce Bahanek. I'm sorry. I do. Forgive me. I'm so sorry if I didn't say it right. Yeah, my bad. So we're going to look at some of these narratives today, and that's what I really love about doing these videos. It's kind of going through the media, showing you, what we're being fed, and looking at what the possible angle is on a lot of this. Censorship is crazy right now. I mean, I don't care what platform you go onto. If you want advertising, if you want that platform to be successful, then they have to allow these same people that are silencing us and running the media and all of this, their hands in the cookie jar as well. So it's like there's no place that's safe. So we have to learn how to elevate ourselves, elevate our frequency. That way we're getting a bird's eye view on all the things that are taking place in the world. And I'm going to talk about some interesting concepts today too. I was listening to Napoleon Hill talking about basically how our sexual energy is what we can use to elevate ourselves consciously. And you guys will know there's like a million practices, tantra and all of this that talks about sexual energy, and we hear things like sex sells. And it's true. If you look at television, all of the commercials, a lot of the commercials on TV, and it's to the point now that we even see the media sexualizing children. I'm going to show you guys some articles on that, some shit. It's pretty disturbing. But we see sex as like the engine that drives everything, right, in our world. So Napoleon Hill was talking about that essentially sex is what drives each one of us to our particular place of greatness. It's that desire to reproduce, especially within males. That our entire world is built off of, gratifying that carnal desire, and that can actually even be used to elevate some people to extremely high levels of consciousness because they're pursuing it in the name of satisfying themselves. Which I guess, when you look at concepts like that and you look at a world that we have now, and I mean, I'm just as guilty as everybody else, sex is a part of every person's life, and it's not like a bad thing, but at the same time, if that's true, if that's what's pushing us forward is simply, reproducing and not, growing within our ideas or growing within consciousness and how we can create better things for a better quality of life, then it feels like the world has the wrong motivations. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. I thought it was interesting. Let's jump into this here. Go ahead and get into it. Public trust in the FBI has reached the red zone. The U.S. is inching closer to mayhem, chaos, and anarchy. The WSJ columnist. Public confidence in the FBI has diminished by 15% in the last 5 years, a poll finds. And I think, just before even getting into this, you would understand that, given what we've seen, especially since COVID and during the Trump administration, all the fuckery by CIA and FBI and through the Freedom of Information Act, all of these different, white papers and documents that have come to the surface has shown, that has been kind of like the hidden hand that has moved the chess pieces for America towards world governance. A lot of our, major crisis, terror attacks, school shootings, bombings, I mean, you name it, right? Have some direct connection with those departments. It says the United States is battling a crisis of confidence with U.S. governing institutions on the line. And FBI Director Christopher Wray's recent testimony before Congress may have been the last straw for the Bureau, Wall Street Journal columnist Dan Henninger warned. In a Wall Street Journal column titled "The FBI Loses the Public," Henninger examined the public's diminishing trust in institutions like the FBI, as studies show voter confidence in the Bureau and the DOJ has hit rock bottom. An NBC poll cited in a column found the public's positive view of the Bureau has tanked by 15% in the last 5 years. The poll came days before Wray's contentious hearing before Congress and amid calls for his resignation for GOP lawmakers over his leadership of the Bureau. Quote, conservatives no longer trust the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Liberals, or more precisely progressives, no longer trust the local police. We have a problem. And, this was here. Let me go ahead and show you a video here. Let me go ahead and get into the videos. I've got so much shit today I want to share with you guys. It's going to be a little bit all over the place. Sometimes that's how I like to do it. I just like to put shit together. We're going to take a look. And this shows you how reliable, places like Wall Street Journal, New York Times, the media, is in anything that they say. Because they're just as much a pivotal part of this machine that we call the Matrix. That's, media, government, religion, all of it. That's kind of keeping you boxed into this, illusory reality. Let me make sure you guys have sound here. And I mean, you think about that, all of the media companies, whether it's television or radio, I think it's two major corporations own the radio companies. It's three major TV stations, and then within places like Wall Street Journal and all that, it's just a handful as well. So all of the media that we're being pushed, we're getting fed a narrative because that's the narrative they want us to be fed. It's a problem, reaction, solution. They slide us out a story and tell us, like for instance, with COVID and the pandemic and all of that, the media assist these entities, whether they're pharmaceutical companies and corporations, which help get certain politicians put in to office so they can pass certain laws, like giving immunity to these pharmaceutical companies when the solution comes through. The media helps create a crisis by showing you the worst of something. That way they can call, whether it's, shootings in your neighborhood, so they can call for gun laws and gun restrictions, or it's grocery store shelves being empty, so they can justify raising the prices on things on the shelf, or long lines at the gas station, so they can justify increasing, the rates of gasoline. Or, it's something like people lined up around the block, which isn't even usually real, trying to get vaccines because they want you to think that there's a limited supply and that, you better hurry up and go get in line to get one. Like, whatever it is, you're being fed an angle because they're trying to get you to react in a certain way so they can roll out the solution and you're okay with it, whether it's a pandemic and they already have, and we know this now. Hold on, let me see if I can. Where's it at? Right here. Yeah. The Freedom of Information Act, defending the Republic, contains Moderna information. See, and this is like, letting you know this was things that were all being covered up, like adverse effects of this were not being put out into the population so people wouldn't, know, and they would continue to get boosters and all this. And we also know that the Department of Defense is the one who distributed all of this, so you can't tell me that, the information where any person that spoke out against something, and I'm just using this as for instance, an example, something against COVID or, vaccines or whatever, they were silenced, they were removed, they were taken off of the public square, the public forum, they're shadow banned, right? They were done away with. Whether they were doctors or YouTubers, it didn't matter. Media, and that shows you right there that the information is controlled. And it happened worldwide. We've seen the entire world shut down at the same fucking time. That should let you know that world governance is already into play. As a result of defending the Republic's successful Freedom of Information Act and litigation against the Food and Drug Administration, we are excited to announce that we are releasing nearly 15,000 pages of documents relating to testing and adverse events associated with Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine, Spikevax. DTR filed its Freedom of Information lawsuit after the FDA denied the expedited production of Moderna C19 records, stating there was no compelling need or urgency for the public to review this information. This spring, DTR reached an agreement with the FDA for the production of approximately 24,000 pages of some of the most important records submitted by Moderna in support of its biologics license application. This is the first part of that production. Later this year, the FDA will produce approximately 8,000 more pages of Moderna documents. These documents are the first significant release of data from Moderna's C19 clinical trials. It revealed the causes of death, serious adverse events, and instances of neurological disorders such as Bell's palsy and shingles potentially associated with Moderna's C19 vaccine. Importantly, these records demonstrate the utter lack of thoroughness of these studies, and many of those who died after receiving it were not only given an autopsy. According to one study, 16 individuals died after being administered this, and the study authors indicate that out of those 16, only 2 autopsies were performed. So, only 2. Let me see if I can drop this in the chat for you guys so you can go check this out on your own as well. Yeah, and thank you so much for joining me, guys. I really do appreciate it. Obviously, Tim Hamby, Gary Andrew Chuck, no sound. No sound. What do you mean no sound? On the video there was no sound? Hold on. Let me make sure I got this, guys. Let me go back here. I see what you're saying.
Terrifying situation. The Georgia Masons provide the Georgia Chip program free of charge as a public service.
Sorry about that. Okay. I feel bad about that. I feel bad about that. Well, sorry guys. We'll just go ahead and get into some other stuff, I guess. We're gonna go Yuval Noval Harari.
The global.
I don't want to show this title here. It's fucking some racist shit. This is Klaus Schwab's right-hand man, and hopefully you guys can hear this. He talks about the New World Order, and let me make sure you guys have sound. Sorry about that. I do apologize.
Cabal theory, it has many variations, but basically there is a small group of people, a small cabal, that secretly controls everything that is happening in the world. All the wars, all the revolutions, all the epidemics, everything that is happening is controlled by this very small group of people who are, of course, evil and have bad intentions. And this is a very well-known story. That it's not new. It's been there for thousands of years. It's very attractive because, first of all, it's simple. You don't have to understand everything that happens in the world. You just need to understand one thing. The war in Ukraine, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, 5G technology, COVID-19. It's simple. There is this global cabal. They do all of it. And also, it enables you to shift all the responsibility to all the bad things that are happening in the world to this small cabal. It's the Jews. It's the Freemasons. It's not us. And also it creates this fantasy, utopian fantasy. If we only get rid of the small cabal, we solved all the problems of the world. Salvation. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the war in Ukraine, the epidemics, poverty, everything is solved just by knocking out this small cabal. So again, it's simple, it's attractive, and this is why so many people believe it. It's not new. Nazism was exactly this. Nazism began as a conspiracy theory. We don't call Nazism a conspiracy theory because, it's a big thing, it's an ideology. But if you look at it, it's a conspiracy theory. The basic Nazi idea was the Jews control the world, get rid of the Jews, you solved all the world's problems. Now, the interesting thing about these kind of theories, again, they tell you that even things that look to be the opposite of each other, actually they are part of the conspiracy. So in the case of Nazism, the Nazis told people, you have capitalism and communism. You think that they are opposite, right? This is what the Jews want you to think. Actually, the Jews control both communism Trotsky, Marx were Jews, blah, blah, blah. And capitalism, the Rothschilds, the Wall Street, it's all controlled by the Jews. So the Jews are fooling everybody. But actually, the communists and the capitalists are part of the same global cabal. And again, this is very attractive. Because, now I understand everything, and now I also know what to do. I just give power to Hitler. He gets rid of the Jews. I solved all the problems of the world. Now, as a historian,
and you know what, it does seem, and I hate to agree with, you know, this guy. I know he's an evil sack of shit or whatever, but if you think about it, like, that is the mentality with, like, Trump now. It's like, you know, this, and it's like, I'm going to check out Sound of Freedom. I know a lot of people's been talking about that lately. And there's so much shit now coming about child trafficking and all this. Trump is the hero to stop this cabal, right? And it's like everybody's willing to hand over the keys to the kingdom, so to speak. And including the people, the groups he's speaking of, are willing to hand over the keys to the kingdom. They think he's the fucking savior, the chosen one, the one to fix all of the world. And it is very, you know, reminiscent of, you know, a Hitler, somebody to come take down this one world system, you know. And we're seeing that kind of play out again. And people still to this day are diehard as fuck, you know, on the Trump train. You know, you guys remember that was like a major targeting of a lot of dissident groups. A lot of groups that were already very dissatisfied with the way that things were going in this country. And then it spread like fucking wildfire into this nationalist kind of conservative nationalist, you know, movement across the world. All types of parties started to emerge in every fucking country, right? That symbolized or represented that same kind of vein. Brexit, all of it, you know. And it's like, when you think about it too, it is really convenient. And we talk about this a lot. There is a one world governance. There is a one world system in place. If you think about it, it's the only logical fucking conclusion or outcome. You know, it makes no sense for us to be warring with each other. We live on the same earth. You know, when you, like, if you truly, truly think about it, I know that, like, a lot of people won't like that, but it's true. Like, it makes no sense for us to be bombing one another and hoarding resources from each other, and there's restrictions on where the fuck I can move because you got a goddamn fence up or a border. You know what I mean? The downside to that is putting, you know, all of the power in one person's hands, whether that's one government, you know, a world government or a world leader or whatever, one body's hands with all of that concentrated power to dominate the entirety of the world. That's the only downside of that. But, you know, if there were like checks and balances in place, where you could still have like different areas kind of represent themselves, you know, and something similar to what we have in the United States, I think, then maybe it wouldn't be so bad. But that is the only logical outcome, you know, is a one world system, a one world governance. That is the direction we're going to head. That is the direction we are heading. We know that through the UN, Sustainable Development, Agenda 2021, Agenda 2030, and so on and so forth, right? This has been on the docket for a long time. And we now see that since COVID-19 that they've ramped up that agenda. The shit's being implemented, right? It's being rolled out whether you like it or not. You can call it the depopulation plot. You can call it sustainable development. You can call it the green agenda. It doesn't matter the name you put on it. This is what's being implemented. This is the world we find ourselves in, you know, and this is one of the leading people at the forefront. And it does too. One thing I don't like about that, this, just like the people that talk about, and there's like, and I feel like we're starting to understand now that there is a higher level of consciousness. there's a higher level of consciousness, and what we would call like being illuminated, or those that are moving in the shadows really are people that can tap in to that highest level of human consciousness, and that would be like where source is, right? It's not all congested with the conscious traffic of everyday life, the rat race, that most people are engaging with. That's where a lot of people are dealing with their problems at. That's where a lot of people are perceiving life from, is at a lower state of consciousness. But these great minds that do, create the inventions that change the world and actually, pull the strings of the world, I believe they're operating at a higher state of being. And it would be more beneficial for people to work on themselves, trying to get themselves into that higher state, instead of like finding a scapegoat, to blame all the world's problems on. It's like, if we don't start changing with ourselves, and changing within ourselves, then our world will never change. It always starts, within each and every one of us. And one thing I don't like about the whole Illuminati New World Order thing is like it gives a lot of people the excuse to kind of push all their shit off on something outside of themselves. Same thing with religion, like worshiping a god in the sky and all of that. It's like I'm not responsible, or I'm not accountable for my life. I'm helpless, because this government, this power is controlling, every aspect of my being, and it's not taking responsibility or being sovereign within oneself, having that point of view.
The most important thing I can say about these theories, they are never right, because the global cabal theory says two things. First, everything is controlled by a very small number of people. Secondly, these people hide themselves. They do it in secret. Now, both things are nonsense. It's impossible for people to control, a small group of people, to control and predict everything, because the world is too complicated. You look at a real world conspiracy. Conspiracy is basically just a plan. Think about the American invasion of Iraq in 2003. You had the most powerful superpower in the world, with the biggest military, with the biggest intelligence services, with the most sophisticated, the FBI and the CIA and all the agents. They invade a third-rate country, third-rate power, Iraq. With this idea, we'll take over Iraq and we'll control it, we'll make a new order in the Middle East. And everything falls apart. Their plan completely backfires. Everything they hope to achieve, they achieve the opposite. America, United States, is humiliated. They caused the rise of ISIS. They wanted to take out terrorism, they created more terrorism. Worst of all, the big winner of the war was Iran. The United States goes to war with all its power and gives Iran a victory on a silver plate.
Because that was the intention in that. I think a lot of people know that. It was to make Iran a nuclear power and all this. I mean, everything that we've seen from Vietnam to all of it, all these little proxy wars, they've had their own their own reasoning behind them, their own agenda behind them, on why they took place the way that they did, and what was the desired outcome. I mean, a lot of them are nothing more than giant glorified CIA operations. Matter of fact, speaking of Iran, I think it was Kermit Roosevelt. He was Roosevelt's brother that was the head of the CIA, and took $1 million and went to Iran and set up an independent newspaper that was an opposition paper, would pay protesters, take pictures of the protesters in like a really short frame to make it look like there was more people than what there actually was, and he created an uprising and overthrew the Ayatollah with like $1 million budget. And that's one of the reasons that, the United States adopted those type of tactics in overthrowing governments and regimes since then, is because it was so cheap and so easy to do it, through psychological means, And when we look at like the powers that be, I genuinely am coming to this belief that, it's not a good or an evil thing. There are so many players, because our world is like so corrupted through our media, and everything seems to be so rotten, because that's how people make money, is usually to the detriment of others in our society, and hopefully that that will change as we grow. But I do believe that it's those that are able to tap into something far higher that run our world, and that those are the ones that we never see. We never see. That would be your true hidden hand. And they probably come in all forms. Good people, bad people. They probably do it by a number of means, how they get there. And I feel like that's our only true way to get out from underneath the control of the system, is to do it by elevating ourselves above it. This is wild shit, and it's like with technology, it's going to become more and more challenging to break free out of the matrix, because the technology is going to be able to lock you in, and like a multitude of different variations now.
Of course, it goes further. So in this one, they said, can they understand the inner monologue, the things you're saying to yourself in your own mind? Mind you, by the way, when you dream, like your visual cortex runs in reverse, so your dreams are no longer safe. But we'll try this. So they had people watch a video and just narrate what was going on in the video in their mind. So there's a woman, she gets hit in the back, she falls over. This is what the computer reconstructed the person thinking. See a girl, looks just like me, get hit in the back, and then she is knocked off. So our thoughts, are starting to be decoded. Yeah. Just think about what this means for authoritarian states, for instance. Or if you want to generate images that maximally activate your pleasure sensor, anything else. Okay, but let's keep going, right? To really get the sense of the combinatorics of this. How about, can we go from Wi-Fi radio signals, sort of like the Wi-Fi routers in your house, they're bouncing off radio signals that work sort of like sonar. Can you go from that to where human beings are, to images? So what they did is they had, a camera looking at a space with people in it. That's sort of like coming in from one eye. The other eye is the radio signals, so sonar from the Wi-Fi router. And they just learned to predict, this is where the human beings are. Then they took away the camera. So all the AI had was the language of radio signals bouncing around a room. And
I disagree. I'm going to comment in just a second.
This is what they're able to reconstruct. Real-time 3D pose estimation, right? So suddenly AI has turned every Wi-Fi router into a camera that can work in the dark, specially tuned for tracking living beings.
Think about that. Every, Wi-Fi router, 5G fucking tower, radio tower, Doppler, it's all able to interact with you. People don't understand that we're frequency too, So we're electromagnetic frequency as well. That's what makes up our being. So, they have the ability to influence your frequency, your vibration, to pick up, to read your thoughts, literally, like 1984 shit, the thought police, And it's like, once they've honed in and targeted on you, I can tell you for a fucking fact, they can make your life extremely difficult, extremely difficult. So, and I see somebody say, yeah, here comes the thought police next. Yeah. They get to that higher level because they have money and aren't as stressed as we are. I disagree with that. I feel like those people get to that level, and I'm talking about a conscious level. And that's what I was talking about with the Napoleon Hill stuff earlier. He was saying that males are able to reach genius because of their sexual desire. So sex to us, and this is just kind of roundabout, I'm just, throw out some different ideas on this. So sex to the male, we live to serve females, basically, is like the name of the game, the gist. So every powerful male or man in history has had like a woman behind them that is actually who's pushing the guy forward, right? Energetically, because you guys are more intuitive, usually have stronger energy, stronger psychic abilities and everything. But we're kind of like, the tip of the spear. So it's that desire, though, for sex, for satisfaction, that actually propels a man forward. You'll see, like, a lot of times, like a single man, right? He's single. A lot of girls will get the idea of, like, he's a dog or a player or whatever because he's like, he'll have sex with a woman, not call her back, move on to the next. And I feel like this is because what they're doing, males is trying to like find that one female, the one that they connect with energetically, right? Emotionally, astral connection. And we do this every time we have intercourse, right? The male imprints on the female, we reproduce and make a copy of the two of us, right? So energetically, every time you have sex with somebody, you create an astral tie, an astral connection. That's why sex magic's so powerful. It is the essence of life or creation. So there's a lot of power, in that union. And I feel like that's what the male is trying to do, is trying to find that right energetic partner for the one that's going to motivate him up the ladder of life. And it's like, you'll notice too, and I've noticed with different females, I have a different energy about me. Certain ones I connect to, most I do not. But rare few times in my life I've connected energetically to certain females. And I mean, when you connect, it's like a hardcore connection. It's like hardwired to your genetics, and it makes you work harder. It makes you a better person. It makes you, you know what I mean? It can do fucked up shit to people too. But it's a compatible, good connection when it makes you try to work towards being a better person or a better version of who you are. And that's what Napoleon Hill is talking about. It's like, it can push a man to raise his consciousness and his energy levels to a point of, that sixth sense awareness. And that's what we're all, and they feel like, and it's said that every great inventor, whether it's Tesla, Einstein, anybody, like every great mind, in order to invent or rise to the top, right, they have to be able to tap into that higher state of conscious being. And that is a frequency thing, guys. That is frequency. It's got nothing to do with how much money you have. It has nothing to do with where you were brought up. Yes, having more money and being brought up in a better area or whatever, better conditions would increase your chances of probably learning the things to get to that frequency. But in essence, anybody can do it. And by tapping into that frequency, we break off the restrictions of the 3D world. We transcend the rules down here in the 3D, and we're able to communicate from that higher perspective. We're able to pull information from the ether in a different type of way. And that's like, you ever seen somebody and you wonder like how the fuck they know all the shit they know, or how they're so good at something, whether it's a NBA player in the fucking fucking last 30 seconds of a basketball game taking over and winning the shit, or it's a fucking mad scientist, you know, creating inventions, or a historian rattling off numbers, or a mathematician coming with equations. Like, it doesn't matter. It's in that high state of consciousness, in alignment with like your purpose, you know, of who you are, in essence. When we're in that place, we're able to access higher realms of information, and we don't have the same restriction that we have, you know, on the normal playing field. And when they talk about a hidden hand or illumination, or we talk about the process of circumambulation, or we talk about the rituals of fucking Freemasonry, or every religion in the world, and what they're trying to take you to, they're trying to take you to that place, right? That most high place, sitting on the, you know, the throne of God within yourself, you know, opening that eye, and that is your antenna, your spiritual antenna. That's your magnetic north pole of your body, right? That is what perceives that higher form of information. You know, that's why it was so important through these agendas of the jabs and all of that. Why? Because that, you know, that graphene went straight to that magnetic pole and caused destruction to it. You know, in essence, disabling people from being able to reach that place, which keeps you under control perpetually. Right? If I'm in a place of higher consciousness, then it doesn't matter. Like it's like no matter what plan you come up with, you know, what you do, nothing can outdo the heavens. You know, it's like, it's just a higher place. You can see things differently, you hear things differently, you interpret things differently, you have more information available to you, right? In the flow, you know, of information. So it's like keeping, you know, humanity in this constant slave state, this slave and oppressed mind state, where we're stuck in the carnal, you know, driven by things of the lower nature, driven by things of the lesser nature. I don't know how animals and mammals know how to have sex and who showed them, but I think it's just an inherent knowing. It is weird how, you know, we all have like different inherent knowings, you know, just as beings. You know, we have certain things encoded in our genetics that, you know, we understand certain processes from birth. It's like fucking a cat. They know how to use a litter box. You don't gotta show a fucking cat how to use a litter box. They just automatically know it's in their nature. You know, same thing with sex and reproducing, you know? Like, not everybody's created equally at doing it, I don't think, but everybody knows how to do it, you know? Or we'll get the gist of it, you know, sooner rather than later. I would hope. But I mean, technology is where we're heading. Technology, it does provide the powers that be an artificial way of tapping into different frequencies as well, different parts of the ethers as well, right? And that almost makes me wonder, you know, about the neural lace and all of that. It's like, you've heard people like Mr. Beast, right? The real famous YouTuber, talk about, you know, he would get it because you could turn a business into the, you know, it opens up the broadband of your mind. In essence, it's artificially like taking a shortcut to enlightenment, you know? Things that Buddhists spend their entire fucking existence trying to reach, right? Samadhi, you know, Buddha state, Christ state, whatever, right? Like, people of the spiritual, people of different spiritual schools of thought spend their entire lifetimes working on that, you know, through good health and exercise and working on their emotions, their thoughts, like the whole thing, to do it naturally. And it's like technology could, you know, if you're jacked into it, could access with an artificial antenna inside of your mind, could access different frequencies for you that would be higher than, you know, the average bear.
Just now, where we move into the exponential phase. And I agree, artificial intelligence, but not only artificial intelligence, but also the metaverse, near space technologies, and I could go on and on, synthetic biology. Our life in 10 years from now will be completely different, very much affected, and who masters those technologies in some way will be the master of the world.
Who masters those technologies in some way will be the master of the world. You see, it's like they understand the concept, because these are people, like you see all like the DMT trips, adrenochrome, all of it. That's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to access fucking trance states of consciousness. In essence, that's why they stop their fucking heart and their breathing. They do all this weird shit they do. Even period blood and sperm and all that for rituals. The power of life, once again, right? For the male and the female. So it's like, and like I was talking about with the sex thing too, right? Which connects to our kundalini and our energetic selves also. When we reach orgasm, we charge the air with certain energy, because, you know, that it's like one of the greatest energetic releases we have is when we reach orgasm. So when we orgasm, we charge the air, and that's why in sex magic they wait till after you will take like a ritual bath or whatever, maybe with certain herbs or flowers or whatever, depending on what you're trying to do. I mean, and cleanse your space, your body, and all that, and then you have sex, and what you have, you know, that you want to accomplish, you speak it into the ethers after the sexual act, because it charges the atmosphere with that power of life and creation, right? So it makes something more potent, right, because of that energy. Yeah. So it's like, it's very weird to see that they want to, and it's like stripping you of your reproductive powers, you know, by disfiguring you, cutting off your cocks and all that stuff, and doing it to, you know, to children, in essence. Giving them different chemicals and shit that'll sterilize them, GMOs, foods, all of it. And then shifting towards, you know, this artificial, you know, to where it's no longer going to be about the reproduction of the human being or our natural energetic transference, but it's like about like living eternally in one synthetic fucking organism or whatever. It's really weird when you think about it. And then like a hive mind concept. We already have a hive mind concept if you think about it. That's what animates each and every one of us. We all do have that essence within all of us, but we all have an individual self too. But what they're trying to do is connect that to where they can pull the strings on every individual, you know, so. And are you surprised, right? This is a really good video. It's old, but it's good, right? It's showing you how, you know, everything down to the architecture is laid out in such a way to invoke, because symbols are energetic frequencies, and a symbol is kind of an archetypical representation of an energetic frequency. So whatever my energetic frequency, the archetype or the symbol of me is me, right? My persona, my mask, it's John, right? That's, you know, what represents my frequency in essence. Even though I have smaller pieces to me, and we all do, right? 12 main components or archetypes, countries, brands, everything with a symbol, everything that carries a frequency, also has archetypes and connects to certain energies. And when you're trying to connect to certain archetypes or certain energies, you're invoking that energy, right? You're trying to manifest that energy by flashing the sigil or the symbol.
Washington, D.C. is probably the most significant city in the world. It's a world that's built for Satan.
We see a wonderful historic day for the nation, and the Freemasons of the United States of America are most privileged and happy to be able to participate in this momentous event. We are beginning our day, as we do in Freemasonry, with the thought of God. In order to be a Freemason, one must not belong to any particular religion, but he must believe in a supreme being in some form. Senator Thurman, members of Congress, most worshipful Grand Masters, my brother Masons, and my fellow Americans. Today is a most sacred and special occasion for all of us. 200 years ago, beneath this hallowed sanctuary, the Capitol cornerstone was laid by President and then Grand Master of Freemasons, George Washington. The inauguration of George Washington had taken place on April 30th of that year. On the Bible, which is here this morning through the courtesy of St. John's Lodge number 1. This is the same Bible upon which Presidents Clinton, Bush, Carter, and George Washington were inaugurated president.
The story of how Washington, D.C. came to be is very interesting. Washington, D.C. was originally farmland. This was chosen, of course, by Jefferson and Washington and others to be the site of the new capital of the United States. But Thomas Jefferson knew that this great city needed a full-time architect. He would be the one who watched over it, but he obtained the services of a man from France, a Freemason named Pierre Lafont. Pierre Lafont was a man who knew the Masonic occult world. He knew what he was designated to do. He sought to build a city which was shaped in the form of a pentagram.
The first time I heard that, you know what I did? I went on Google Earth. Because I don't just believe everything I hear. I went on Google Earth. I didn't even look at a map. I looked at Google Earth and just zoomed in with a satellite image on that, and I said, there it is. I mean, you'd have to be blind not to see it. I was thinking like, okay, how am I going to find it? And it was just, it's right there. You can't miss it.
And I've been to DC. Yes. Yeah, it does sit between Virgin, and Mary land. Yeah, Maryland. Yeah, Virgin Mary. And Columbia, that's you see the picture of Columbia with the light bearer and all that, Prometheus, Lucifer, right? The District of Columbia. So I mean, and it's one of the three pillars of the beast system too. The Vatican, DC, and Babylon, right? So these are like the three arms of Babylon, right? Modern day. You have the War District, which is DC, the religious capital, which is the Vatican, and then the financial center, which is London. Is John live on all of his channels? I am live on my main YouTube channel, BDP2. I'm live on my main Facebook channel and the Best Damn Podcast on Facebook, and I'm live on Twitter right now. So I'm live on like 5 of them right now. So, and everybody who is watching too, if you're watching, Facebook, make sure to comment. It does help me a lot. Follow, like, YouTube, same thing. Hit the like, subscribe. It helps me so much. And Twitter, retweet, tweet, all that good shit. Follow me. And check me out. Instagram, TikTok, BitChute, Rumble, all the other platforms as well. The links are in the description box down below. And if you like what I do, if you like my work and you like my channel, donate. You can donate support, PayPal, Venmo, Patreon, Cash App, or Facebook Messenger. You can book your own personal tarot reading. I do tarot, which I think I'm good at it, but, whatever. And since you guys didn't hear this earlier, because I didn't have the sound on, let's go ahead and play this again.
Former CFR. At a 1991 closed-door meeting of fellow internationalists, billionaire and former CFR chairman David Rockefeller praised his media allies, but his confidence that his words would not leave the room was later broken.
We are grateful to the Washington Post, the New York Times, Time Magazine, and other publications whose directors have attended our meetings and restricted their promises of discretion for almost 40 years. It would have been impossible for us to develop our plan for the world if we had been subject to the bright lights of publicity. But the world is now more sophisticated and prepared to march toward a world government.
That these men aim to create a world system of financial control in private hands, able to dominate the political system of each country and the economy of the world as a whole.
And, we've seen that. We've already talked about this. And I'm going to play this one more time, too, just for you guys. I just think it's funny.
So it's Friday night.
This is
All right, everyone. So it's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go out. This is the look. I'm feeling kind. But before I go out, I've got a pregame. And the only way I pregame is with an ice cold Bud Light. So good. Happy Friday.
Oh shit, I'm sorry. I just think that one's so fucking funny. Deep fakes too. The deep fakes is getting better and better. I have a good time watching the deep fakes now, so I don't know about you guys. And the reason they're giving child trafficking so much attention right now.
When a child goes missing, the Amber Alert system can make a huge difference in a terrifying situation. The Georgia Masons provide the Georgia Chip program free of charge as a public service and as a gift to the citizens of our state. Ross Laver explains.
The GA Chip program provides information to a parent that
I'm going to let Freemasons put a chip in my kid, let me tell you.
they can use to provide to police in the event that a child or a person becomes missing. In the package that they receive, they get a CD. The CD has photos, fingerprints, the video interview, which is very important. The photos are forensically correct photos, speaking particularly that everybody's ears are different. So there's a shot of each ear, which is clear and determinable. As well as the demographics of the child, height, weight, age, parents' name, address, and phone number. And
they got to make damn sure that when they sell your kid off and go steal him out of your backyard, they have all the specs right. You know what I mean? They want to know if they're stealing a little blonde or if you're dead or, you know what I mean? This used to happen when I was a kid. It was like fucking Blockbuster Video or something back then. And like there was some shit that got found out where a lot of these things where they like try to create videos for if your kid gets abducted. First off, you're like telling the universe, like, please come abduct my kid by making one of these videos. You know what I mean? It's like giving into the concept like that. That's even a possibility. I don't know. I don't like it at all. But I've seen things where children's services and shit like that have protective services have had their hands in a lot of this, like in taking children. It's just weird shit, man. I've never ever been down with this, and it's like, yeah, if you want to let the Freemasons put a goddamn, this is only the one fucking group of people who's like associated with like child sacrifice and shit. And it's like, here, can we put a chip in your kid and get all of their fucking, statistics and put it on a video? Like, what the fuck?
In addition to that, within the kit, there is an appliance, we use a dental appliance, that contains DNA and scent, as well as the child's dental impression.
Oh my God.
Perhaps most important of those is the scent, because with scent, we're hoping to be able to track that child and return them as quickly as possible.
Wow. So they're taking your kid's scent, their DNA and their scent. I'm sorry, man. That is fucking too much, bruh. Too much. I don't know if I can deal with that, honestly. It's, damn. It's like you think you've seen it all and then just, I don't know. Something new every day because they're dogs. Gay chip? I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about a gay chip. I don't know if you guys can see this though. Well, look, I mean, they bring it right on the open now. Well, this is what's great about this, okay? It feels like there must be more than this. This guy's spoken for some sort of racist stuff, and we're told to cut it out, but then made a symbol in a picture, which was sort of the last straw. So, I guess he's supposed to be a racist or whatever, and he's holding up the sixes here. And look at this. It was an official team photo. He was front row and did the symbol with fingers pointing down. Nothing about the situation called for an okay gesture for safety. It's got to be upside down. And then they go on to say that the okay hand symbol is white supremacy. Am I missing something? I have a book of symbols, like secret symbols and all kinds of shit like that. And I've never seen in that book, that was the symbol for white supremacy. It says, we must flood Twitter and other social media websites with spam claiming that the OK hand symbol is a symbol of white supremacy. Make fake accounts with basic white girl names and type shit like, oh my god, that's so true. Use as many emojis as you please. It would also be good for us to associate the OK sign being a symbol of white supremacy because Mel Gibson used it. Use the hashtag power hand privilege in all of your tweets and whatnot related to this. Bonus points if your profile pic is something related to supporting feminism. Leftists has dug so deep down in their lunacy we must force to dig more until the rest of society ain't going anywhere near that shit. Wow. Fucking weird. These little ops. So weird. Seriously. Here we go. Anonymous comments with racist, sexist, and abusive messages that were posted for years on an obscure anonymous jobs-related website for economists originated for numerous leading universities, among others Yale and Harvard. Anonymity and identity online. And who's buying this shit? Now this is what I'm saying about sexualizing children. Look at this. Fucking babies' clothes. Rabbit skins. Make them drool early. Future Hooters girl. I would like to meet the people that have their babies in a future Hooters girl t-shirt. For real. You grew up with skinheads? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We all know what this is. Well, that's not KKK, I can tell you that right now. They're not doing that for KKK. They're doing that for some whole other shit, yo. Never heard of that Clown Planet. But, I mean, look, that's, Another reason we're told not to worry is that these machines can't help us but share our values because they will literally be extensions of ourselves. They'll be grafted onto our brains and will essentially become their limbic systems. Now take a moment to consider that the safest and only prudent path forward recommended is to implant this technology directly into our brains. Now this may in fact be the safest and only prudent path forward, but usually one safety concern about a technology have to be pretty much worked out before you stick it inside your head. Okay, yeah. Oh my gosh. Researchers developed a new type of brain-computer interface that can be easily slipped in and out of the ear canal. And Australian dish brain team wins 600,000 grand to merge AI with human brain cells. Spiral brain-computer interface slips into ear canal with no loss of hearing. How about that? Holy shit. A multi-institutional team of engineers in China. Look at that, y'all. You guys see that? That is fucking wild. Look at that. It's just a spiral like film, 3 millimeters in your ear canal. Huh. Multi-institutional team of engineers in China has developed a new type of brain-computer interface that can be easily slipped in and out of the ear canal. In their project, reported in the journal Nature Communications, the group set out to design and build a new kind of BCI that is less invasive than existing devices. A brain-computer interface is a device that allows communication between the brain and the computer, though to date most such devices are one-directional. They are used to listen on brain waves for such applications as converting them to text or to electronic signals that can be used, to engage another device such as a wheelchair. One of the main drawbacks of most BCIs is their invasiveness. Current approaches involve the use of electrodes attached to the scalp or microneedles or probes that pierce the skull. In this new effort, the team in China has built a BCI that is not only less invasive but can be engaged and disengaged easily. Look at that. Would you guys put that in your head? It's got little 6-pointed stars all over it, though. Very weird, man. Very weird. I mean, I'd give it a try. The research team suggests that Spiral E could open the door to new BCI applications due to its ease of use. The envision of the development of applications that converts full thoughts into text-controlled objects in both the real and virtual worlds, and even perhaps augmented memory. Fuck it. I'd give it a try. I'd give it a try. You guys, no? China publishes and deletes official COVID data indicating over 1 million more deaths than reported. Researchers who reviewed the information said it was the latest indication that China's official death toll is vastly undercounted. Official data hinted at China's hidden COVID toll, then it vanished. The epidemiologists say a rise in cremations in an eastern province was the latest indication that the country's official death toll from COVID is a vast undercount. And it's like, yeah, who the fuck, you know, I'm pretty sure we all knew that, you know. And the undercount, truth is it's probably nobody, I don't even want to go there, for real. If I go there, they'll just delete this video, so. Alright. The screens are designed to get you high like a drug. It's called hypnosis, and our brains release happy chemicals when watching them. This is by design due to the flicker rates being specifically engineered for this effect. If you think your TV, computer, or cell phone isn't a weapon against humanity, think again. I recommend watching this video a few times to better understand what they are doing to us. Now let's check this out. This is crazy Hulu commercials. Make sure you guys have sound.
Hello, Earth. I'm Alec Baldwin, TV star. You know, they say TV will rot your brain. That's absurd. TV only softens the brain, like a ripe banana, to take it all the way. We've created Hulu. Hulu beams TV directly to your portable computing devices, giving you more of the cerebral gelatinizing shows you want anytime, anywhere, for free.
I only act out because I want your love. Dynamite!
Mushy mush. And the best part is there's nothing you can do to stop it. I mean, what are you going to do, turn off your TV and your computer? Once your brains are reduced to a cottage cheese like mush, we'll scoop them out with a melon bowler and gobble them right on up. Oops. I think I'm drooling a little. Because we're aliens. And that's how we roll. Hulu, an evil plot to destroy the world. Enjoy.
Wow, that one was pretty good. I like that one.
Hello, Earth. I'm Eliza Dushku, star of the new show Dollhouse. It's a potent blend of twisty plot lines and insane action that'll keep your eyes glued and your brain rotting, as your high school teacher used to say. And to speed things up, we created Hulu. Hulu beams so many free shows right to your computer. It'll simmer your head meat down to a bubbling, brainy fondue. Useless to you, delicious to us. Because we're aliens. That's kind of our thing.
Hulu, an evil plot to destroy the world. Enjoy.
I think you guys are getting the picture here.
Greetings, Earth friends. I'm Seth MacFarlane. You know, the next time someone says TV rots your brain, laugh. Laugh hard.
That laughter will force our televised intoxicants deep into your cerebellum, slowly rotting it into a quivering blob of tapioca.
Yeah, and to finish it off, we got Hulu. Hulu blasts enough free TV to your lappity-toppity boxes
to turn your chunky gray matter into creamy goo matter. Giggity. Giggity goo.
Who wants chowder?
Because we're aliens.
And that's our gig.
Hulu, an evil plot to destroy the world. Enjoy.
And this is the last one right here.
Hey, Earth! Come here. It's time for a little come to dentist meeting. Your parents were right, your teachers were right, even that creepy scoutmaster with the tight brown shorts was right. TV is slowly rotting your brain and turning it into a slimy, gooey, mushy blob of pudding, and there's nothing you can do about it. See? I just told you what was happening, and you're still watching TV. Amazing. But this whole slowly part is getting to be a real problem. Well, guess what? Hulu. We built Hulu to pump thousands of hours of free TV right into the one screen you drag around everywhere. Hence... Now I need you to take your stubby little human fingers and hit this button on Hulu. Then you can share those TV shows in your bliggity blogs and your facey spaces and your tweety pages for all your bookwormy anti-boob-to-be friends. So here's the deal. Help us turn their finely cultured skull beef down to the aforementioned pudding, and we'll slurp out yours last. Eh? Yeah, because we're aliens. And you ain't soup yet.
Hulu, an evil plot to destroy the world. Enjoy.
Excellent. Yeah, so very interesting. Very interesting. New Zealand will restrict the use of herbal products that people use to treat infections and maintain a healthy lifestyle. This is like a big thing too. You know, going against like herbal shit and all that. Any type of natural remedies. You know, there was recently a thing that came out. I think it was the CDC. I want to say it was the CDC. Could have been the WHO. Where they're now going to like, you know, release all the side effects for natural remedies and basically like sue people that put them out. Is that Hulu plot statement considered a disclaimer to create informed consent? It seems like that. You know, it really does. It seems like it is like some type of, you know, informed consent. Matter of fact, I do have, where is it at here? I got like the patent and shit for all this too. Right here, yeah. See, look. Why is there a patent for subliminal acoustic manipulation of the nervous system? Here it is. And human subject sensory resonances can be excited by subliminal atmospheric acoustic pulses that are tuned to the resonance frequency. The half-hertz sensory resonance affects the autonomic nervous system and may cause relaxation, drowsiness, or sexual excitement, depending on the precise acoustic frequency near the half-hertz used. The effects of the 2.5 hertz resonance include slowing of certain cortical processes, sleepiness, disorientation, and for these effects to occur, the acoustic intensity must lie on a certain deeply subliminal range. Suitable apparatus consists of a portable battery-powered source of weak sub-audio acoustic radiation, like a cell phone. The method and apparatus can be used by the general public as an aid to relaxation, sleep, or sexual arousal. And clinically for the control and perhaps the treatment of insomnia, tremors, epileptic seizures, and anxiety disorders. There's a further application as a non-lethal weapon that can be used in law enforcement standoff situations for causing drowsiness and disorientation in targeted subjects. It's then preferable to use venting acoustic monopoles in the form of a device that can inhale and exhale air with sub-audio frequency. Wow. The central nervous system can be manipulated via sensory pathways. Of interest, here's a resonance method wherein periodic sensory stimulation evokes a physiological response that peaks at certain stimulus frequencies. This occurs, for instance, when rocking a baby, which typically provides relaxation at frequencies near half hertz. The peaking of physiological response versus frequency suggests that one is dealing here with a resonance mechanism, wherein the periodic sensory signals evoke an excitation of oscillatory modes in certain neural circuits. The sensory pathways involved in rocking example is a vestibular nerve. However, similar relaxing response at the same frequencies can be attained by gently stroking a child's hair or administering weak heat pulses to the skin as discussed. These three types of stimulation involve different sensory modalities, but similarly in response and effective frequency suggest the resonant neural circuitry is the same. Apparently, the resonance can be excited either vestibular pathways or cutaneous sensory pathways or carry tactile or temperature information. That's so fucking crazy. And look, remember we were seeing the thing about like the earpiece to connect to your brain, apparatus for manipulating the nervous system, the subject having an ear comprising. Generator means for generating voltage pulses. How about that? Conduit orifice open to atmosphere for passing gaseous flux. So I mean, yeah, a method for manipulating the nervous system, the subject having an ear comprising the steps of generating voltage pulses, inducing a manner of responsiveness to the voltage pulses at the ear, subliminal atmospheric acoustic pulses with a pulse frequency less than 15 hertz. So it's like they can go directly through the ear too, and we seen that earlier. I'm going to put this patent in the chat for you guys too. Anytime I have like documents and shit like that, I always like to do that. Just for people that are interested and want to like study it on their own. There you go. Yeah, give me some of that hertz. Presidential alert probably affects the nervous system. I would say yeah. I would say, you know, I know for a fact that you know, alarms and sirens have, you know, an effect on us. They trigger certain responses within us. You know, we've talked about, man, I wonder why my chat didn't work today. We talked about how, it's so weird how the chat didn't work. Sorry about that. You know, we've talked about how, you know, certain words can trigger negative connotations. Well, imagine, you know, sounds, you know, frequencies. Especially like really abstract sounds that you're not used to hearing or have incredibly high fucking high pitches or low pitches. Expect to see military training in and around Chatham County this week. Law enforcement issuing notices to let residents know about upcoming military training exercise. Military personnel will conduct training to ensure the military's ability to operate in urban environments, prepare forces for upcoming overseas deployments, and meet mandatory training certification requirements. Military airframes will be used in this exercise. The Chatham County Police Department has worked to ensure minimal impacts on our citizens and their daily routine. Safety precautions have taken to prevent risk to the general public and the military personnel involved. Training site locations are not open to the public and will be guarded by uniformed personnel to provide additional safety. So, if you live in Chatham County, Georgia, they're going to be doing military exercises there. So, and it's weird. Preparing for overseas deployments and shit. Millions may be at risk, hit with alarming syphilis outbreak. Health officials in Houston, Texas are grappling with a syphilis outbreak among the population. That's weird. You know, that is weird. You know, syphilis outbreaks and shit. Spelling mistake is causing thousands of sensitive Pentagon documents to be leaked to a Russian ally. The emails intended for the military's .mil domain may have been misdirected to .ml, the country identifier for Mali. Yeah, I doubt that. I doubt that, you know, any of this is accidental. Earth's atmosphere can clean itself. Groundbreaking research finds. You know, this is gonna, I doubt it's gonna put a day in any of what the, you know, the green agenda is trying to accomplish, if we're, you know, being honest here. All this. It only took 2 years. The Biden admin suspends funding for the Wuhan lab. A tornado in North Carolina severely damaged a Pfizer plant, damaged several other structures, shut down a major interstate, and injured more than a dozen people.
Extreme weather is still plaguing the country coast to coast, with tens of millions of Americans still facing heat advisories. In Kentucky, the governor declared a state of emergency after potentially record rain flooded the state. This was the scene in Mayfield in southwest Kentucky. And in Rocky Mountain, North Carolina, a tornado packed 150 miles per hour winds pummeling a Pfizer pharmaceutical plant. And the twister also tore the roof off of part of that building as well, sending medicine and other debris flying everywhere. So more than a dozen people there were injured. CNN's Diane Gallagher is...
Yeah, knocking down a Pfizer plant. He said instant karma. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think we've seen, you know, they still haven't got the fucking karma that, you know, they should have gotten. You know, I just want to encourage everybody, you know, that's watching this. We're in such a weird time right now. We really are. We're in such a weird, interesting time. People should definitely be careful to what they're, you know, what they're listening to, what they're ingesting, you know, the people they're following, what they're believing in. It seems like as if everything that we're fed on the television, the radio, internet, it's fake. It's meant to distract you from you. You know, from you. It's like it's up to each and every one of us to kind of like realize who we are in all of this and what our impact is in the world. You know, the kind of lives we want to lead, the kind of people we want to be associated with, the kind of world we want to see. You know, the kind of world we want to see, and it starts inside. You know, for far, far too long, you know, I've given my power to people, to places, to things outside of myself. You know, and you know, I've just kind of like made a promise within myself to like not do that anymore. You know, it's like if it's something that doesn't take me to a higher place, a higher level, then it's like I don't even want anything to do with it. It's like we only get so much time on this earth, and we spend so much of it wasting it by hating each other, holding grudges against each other, unforgiveness in our heart, blaming one another, you know, not only for our own problems, but the world's problems. You know, it's like if we're in a really good place, I feel like we'll see everybody, see the best in people. you know? I feel like that's what life is truly about, is like trying to find that place where you can see the best in people, because you're seeing the best in yourself. Like, it's really true when it says if you don't love yourself, you can't love others, you know? And our world beats us down constantly and tries to give us a million reasons not to love ourselves, or tries to constantly make us compare ourselves to what everyone else is doing and what everyone else has got going on. You know, it's like, I think the true key to happiness is just running your own race. You know, running your own race and understanding that the only enemy, the only competition you have in life is you. It's like you measured against you and your true potential, you and what you're really capable of. You know, and if you're in alignment and on your path, you'll know it, because I think you'll be happy. No matter who you're around, no matter if you're married, single, no matter if you have children, you don't, no matter what you're doing, you know, like when you're in alignment, you find that you find true happiness. And the way to be in alignment is finding our true self, you know, living in our purpose, and, you know, dedicating ourselves, our energy, to something that's going to better our world. That's what gives meaning to life. Love gives meaning to life. Family gives meaning to life. Whatever gives meaning to your life, I would say pursue that. You know, pursue what makes you happy. Pursue what makes you whole. And when we invest in ourselves spiritually, and we understand, like, out of all the mysteries, we're the mystery. It's us. It's about us. The mystery is inside of us. It's like, and when we can tap into that, we can access things far beyond what the normal person can. You know, and everybody has the gifts available to them. Everybody has spirit available to them if they're willing to pursue it, if they're willing to seek it. You know. And I think one day, you know, we all will find ourselves on a higher plane of existence than what we are now. And that's what these cycles in humanity are. Is they're massive shifts in consciousness. Massive shifts in our way of being, our way of understanding, our way of behaving. That's why it's like societal collapse and restructuring of the social system, and we see technology being integrated as we move into an Aquarian age. It's because this always happens. You know, this is the precession of the equinox. These are the massive cycles that define humanity. And if you look at historically, from pyramids and Tiwanaku and all these different pillars of our ancient history and society, those were ages of consciousness as well. And I feel like we're going to something far beyond even that. You know, whatever consciousness we were in when we built pyramids and did those great and amazing things, it was because we were in tune. You know, our thoughts were in tune with the ability to do those amazing things. That's why we were able to do it. That's why we've seen kind of this lull in humanity over the last, couple hundred years. The Industrial Revolution seemed to be the beginning of what we're walking into now, the end of the Piscean Age, where we're leaving this dualistic mindset and we're seeing the connectedness of the whole, of the all, and we're understanding our part in the all, and how we have the ability simply by being to manifest any life or outcome that we desire, any partnership that we seek, anything that we truly want. The reason we want it is because it's in our vibration, it's in our frequency, right? It's meant for us, and that's why we desire it. That's why we seek it. That's why we want it. And it's about putting ourselves in alignment to receive it, putting ourselves in the right place to receive it, and putting yourself by like-minded people that have similar ways of looking at the world, similar belief systems. That's a big thing now. So many people don't get it. They don't understand. and I don't feel like I understand it all, but I'm open to learning, and I think that that's where it begins. I'm just glad God has never lost. That he needed to be. God has never been lost, but he needed to be found. Yeah, well, God has been very kind to me and patient with me and understanding with me. You know, my timing of my life has not always been perfect. You know, I feel like I've met a lot of people at the wrong times, but maybe according to God's plan, it was the exact right time. You know, the exact right time, because we wouldn't be where we are today without the experiences of yesterday. You know, and I try to not regret the things that have happened in the past or hold them against others or hold it against myself, but take each experience as a lesson, you know, for learning, take the value out of it that I can and use it for moving forward. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. I appreciate all of you guys for joining me. Please hit the like, donate, support, share, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you guys next time. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Peace.